Join us for a review of the Peugeot 3008 facelift. Let's go! In the front here, the facelift of the 3008 shows a new front grille and is very, cleverly integrated right there. Very dramatic styling. Before it had a separate frame. The frame is gone. It's now more seamlessly integrated and leads over to the headlamp unit. And here also this side element, really interesting how the horizontal shapes lead over to that. This being the GT trim, so the sportier trim, also high spec definitely, with a more, expressive look. The length is at 4 meters 45, 14 foot 6 or 175 inches. If you want a longer version for even more interior space, you would pick the bigger brother, the 5008. Here the 3008 comes with 17, 18 or 19-inch wheels here in the highest trim. These are the 19-inch wheels in the black design. And this also fits then again to this optional black pack we have here, because this here would usually be in chrome and it's black here. And also the lower area right here would have another chrome element, which is also just left black here. And a very modern rear where the tail lamps show a more three-dimensional lion claw design now. They have been updated right there. Hybrid badge for the plug-in hybrid models. Other than that, they do not differ from the styling that much. And in the lower part, here, massive fake exhaust alert from the Autogefühl fake exhaust police. Two most massive fake exhausts. So this is like the example of how a fake exhaust can be, pure fake. Engines for the Peugeot 3008 would either be a 1.5 liter diesel, or on the petrol side, 1.2 liter 3-cylinder turbo petrol engine, or the 1.6 liter 4-cylinder turbo petrol engine. And that one either pure combustion, or here then in the hybrid drivetrain combined with an electric motor, either just front-wheel drive, then 225 horsepower, or there's also the all-wheel drive version of the hybrid drive, then with 300 horsepower, where you get an electric motor, an additional one also at the rear. And charging of that 13 kilowatt hour battery, 3.7 kilowatts or optional 7.4 kilowatt. Should of course go for the stronger optional one. And then the pure electric range is up to 50 kilometers or 30 miles, but I say up to, of course, usually then in a realistic figure a little bit less. And then special seats, these sport seats, and in the Allure trim, it would be the non-sporty high trim. This would come in fabric here in the middle, and then leatherettes, so all animal-free and on the outside. And in the GT trim, it comes with Alcantara or microfiber here on the inside. And in this case here, because it's a plug-in hybrid, in the grey style. Otherwise, it would be in the dark or just in the black style, and here in the grey style, even cooler, and especially a great contrast to this vertigo blue outside color. So beautifully done, very beautiful design, and indeed they're also quite comfortable. They also fit well with tall people, 1.86 or 6'1", and here enough headroom is left and you find a nice seating position here. Then the steering wheel is a manual control. Some things of the build quality is, like, the steering wheel control, how you feel, the steering wheel and move it, could be a little bit better. And also some parts in the middle console. But then again, the visual aspect is really fancy because it's so unique, and especially then, of course, with the seats, as I just told you. So good comfort here, compact SUV, and you find a nice seating position. Have also a good overview here. So I think this very well speaks for the car. Yeah, with the blocking of the instruments a little bit in the lower part, but that's also something you can live with. And you can see here, one of the few options that is left in the GT trim is the focal sound system for even more sound boost. Now to the interior overview. See here, this is more or less soft touch, contrast stitches, then the beautiful grey microfiber insert right there. So it's a really cool styling. Then this cockpit style here with the hotkeys, so you can access the GPS and so on. Apple CarPlay or Android Auto connection is available. Still a manual volume knob. And soon more deals to that screen. You start with an 8-inch screen. This is the new, bigger 10-inch screen that comes automatically here in the highest trim level. Once again, look at this tiny steering wheel and the digital instruments. Also soon more deals to that with the close-up. You can see here this arrangement of the IKE cockpit. Then in the lower part, you have charging, USB-A charging for your smartphone, or connection also for the interface, but there's also an inductive charging pad right here where it lies, and enough space for bigger smartphones as well. And then the Apple CarPlay integration looks like this, and this optional focal sound system is, I would say it's okay, but it's also nothing where I would say like, oh my god, this is amazing. So not sure if it's worth the upgrade. It should be better than the standard sound system, yes, but it's not that I would say you have to go for it. So, yeah. If you like music, of course, better again than the bass sound system, but maybe a little bit disappointing, but just a little bit. Here, 3-finger trick always gets us back to this hidden main menu, which only exists in this way then. Climate menu, this one of the drawbacks of this vehicle. No manual climate knobs. That's the thing here at Peugeot and Citroën at the moment. Yeah, when you are at 2 and 22 degrees Celsius guy, AC on and leave it automatic, you won't care. All others will. Then again, here the GPS system, which is still somewhat outdated. So you get a bigger, more fancy screen, yes, but the GPS here looks rather like from the 90s still, so not convinced with that one. Now the digital instruments, it's not the 3-dimensional cockpit yet, which we've, for example, seen in the all-new 208, but this is actually well usable here, and GPS view all over the place, very nice integration, and then you can also pick some different other stylings here. The build up of the visualization always takes some time. I think a little bit less show would have been better in this case, but overall I think quite cool, and then you can just pick the style you really like. And then here, as for your legroom, this is when the seat is all the way down. So it works, but you see it would be better, or you need to put it a little bit higher. So the front seats need to be higher, that I can put my feet underneath the seats, and also here then that my knees fit in a better way. So this is something to remember. Just tell the driver, put the seat a little bit higher, and then you can very well also fit in this recess here. Other than that, the seating position here in the rear is actually fairly comfortable. There is the optional panoramic roof here. This works in a way that my hairs are about to touch the ceiling, so it directly works, I would say. A little bit more headroom than when you leave out the panoramic roof, but other than that, it's actually a good position here. And now to the boot capacity. Electric hatch right here, 400 up to 1,350 liters. And you can see here, nice square dimensions. Length here is about 90 centimeters. Width here, this is well in a meter, a little bit more. And here even more than a meter, so that's very well done. Welcome to Thomas's Driving Lounge with the Peugeot 3008 facelift. Here today with the hybrid, the plug-in hybrid, and today with the front-wheel drive version hybrid, 225 horsepower. So as I said earlier, there's also this all-wheel drive version available. We tested earlier. You can check out the video description for that link. We'll just have more punch, about 3 seconds faster in the acceleration then, but we'll see how that one is sufficient or not. Here we're starting in the pure electric mode. I have set the car starts in pure electric mode because I have set it hybrid mode. And in hybrid mode, the car, says, yeah, when we're just cruising here around, that's fine. You can also see it here from the drivetrain. As long as all is blue, that's in the electric. So when you don't need big acceleration, you have enough power in the battery, drives electric. Here now the projected range, all electric, is about 30 kilometers. It's not 100% full, but still you can see 50 kilometers and 30 miles is not that realistic. More like 40 kilometers and like 25 miles is a more realistic figure when it's really fully charged. And then as soon as I leave the throttle, here in the D mode, car's rather rolling, or when I hit the brake, then we have some recuperation of the see here in the charging meter. And the alternative would be putting the shifting lever backwards, then we are in the B mode, and when I get off the throttle then, the car is recuperating a little bit more. And to me, that's the more helpful solution for the plug-in hybrid or for electric driving, using this recuperation, because also in the combustion engine models, you would have an engine brake, and that also comes a little bit closer than to a normal feeling than just rolling. Rolling would be more efficient in general, but the thing is, when you lift your foot off the throttle, in most situations, you also want to decelerate at some point, At which degree, that's another question, but you most of the time want to decelerate. And then it also makes sense to just, recuperate immediately. It's also a safety thing that the car gets slower a little bit, even in the moment you switch from your throttle to the brake pedal. Here the steering feel is always unique with this iCockpit, small and light, no natural feeling, but still fun. So it doesn't give you, again, the most natural feeling, but it's quite direct still. It's fun to steer it around, and again, arcade style, that you just feel like, in a simulator a little bit. It doesn't disconnect you that much from reality, from the driving, but, it's just very unique, a lot of fun, but not natural. So depends then if you like that or not. But it's always, at least entertaining to use that, definitely. Here, when we accelerate a little bit harder, it's still staying in the all-electric mode, so that's still fine. And if we would press it even harder, there's like a threshold in the pedal, and then also the combustion engine hops on. But you see, here's also, now it went on because we've been running uphill, and the car obviously said like, when it's going further uphill, maybe the combustion engine would be good then. Here now again, the yellow element went away. Now we're again driving all electric. You see in the hybrid mode, the car switches back and forth depending on its liking. Now again, the combustion engine went on. And the alternative to that would be selecting the driving mode and set to the all-electric mode. Then, for example, here the combustion engine goes off and you really stay in this electric mode unless you really hit the throttle, then it also pops to the combustion engine mode. And then the alternative to that would be the sports mode. Then most power is used combined. Here the combustion engine always hops on. And then I have both power combined. I'm not doing that here because of the beautiful cows now. Don't disturb them with a big acceleration. We can soon do that. So here's sports mode again. Maximum power, maximum acceleration. Let me show you some like 20 kilometers to like 70 or something. Plop, that's it. That was already 75. So see here, reasonable speed, reasonable performance. The all-wheel drive model would here, of course, have the better kick, but you can see here with the 225 horsepower overall, you'll be just fine. This is really enough as for the performance. And now to our conclusion for today with the updated Peugeot 3008. In general, it has a very fresh look, but here even more so in the facelift, a sporty look. So with the GT version and the optional black pack, this very vehicle here, the sportiest look for the 3008 so far. And the facelift even has made it sportier with this new front grille. And when you look at the interior with the infotainment system upgrades, really nice also with the grey Alcantara seats, especially coming here for the Phev versions. These are one of my favorites. Here some parts in the interior could be a little bit more, premium as for the feeling, because if you think about this car as it stands here right now, about 50,000 euros, one of the, top spec Peugeots overall, and then we could expect maybe a little bit more here and there. But overall, still a very well usable car, also for the interior space, and once again, this very unique interior setup, which is still very unique overall on the market. What do you think? Give us your opinion here about the Peugeot 3008 with the facelift here. Do you like it? Do you like the changes? See us in the comment section, and also see you at our very next review. Goodbye.